What's going on, guys? And welcome to a Wrestlemania edition of the Warcry podcast. I'm your host, Yahola Tiger. And on this, like I said, we're going to be talking about Wrestlemania on this, I guess, episode. It's not really an episode. It's going to be YouTube, probably a little bit of TikTok. But we're going to be talking about Wrestlemania. This is my favorite time of the year. One thing that I cannot stress enough about Wrestlemania is my weekend's like done. Like, don't ask me to do nothing. Don't ask me. I know it's Easter this weekend too. I'm gonna have to cancel some plans. Jesus is gonna have to wait on the low. But this WrestleMania and really WWE in general has gotten a lot of flack here in the last, I don't know, dare I say, 6 months. WrestleMania 40. Cody Rhodes got his story. He completed the story. He finished the story. But the next night on Raw after that, the Raw after WrestleMania, The Rock comes out, and it's a weird kind of like a interaction, and we're not really sure what's going on. Uh, and The Rock is like, you know what? I'll be making sure I'm around. Basically, I'll always be around. So we fast forward, Bad Blood in Atlanta. Rock comes out and gives the 1, 2, and everyone's like, "What? Okay, he's one. There's a two. Cody might be the second one." And so that has kind of been like a talking point. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Cody Rhodes has he's a white meat baby face, and he's fallen off from me in terms of his story. He finished the story and they're like, "Oh, there's more to the story." And I'm like, "Is there?" I mean, you AJ Styles, uh, legend, Kevin Owens, that feud was cheeks. I didn't really care for that. I think I watched part of it, Saturday night's main event. But the story and the build up in Cody Rhodes, the face of the company, has been kind of lackluster, eh, minus Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber. But before we get to that, WrestleMania this year is in Las Vegas. The last time they just dropped a documentary, I think it was WrestleMania 9. I could be wrong. 8, 10, whatever one, where Hulk Hogan comes out with a black eye and basically takes the title away from Yokozuna, who just won it from Bret Hart. And Bret Hart, man, if y'all haven't seen that documentary, one thing about Bret Hart, man, he's kind of bitter. Like, he's really bitter. Like, bitter to the point of you're like, all right, Bret, it's been 40 years, man. Like, let's let it go. Like, it's over. Everyone respects you. I'm glad that but I've never been a big Bret Hart fan. I'm a huge Goldberg fan. Y'all gonna hate me for that, but that's all right because I don't know if Goldberg really hurt him. Y'all can let me know in the comments what you believe. I know Stevie Richards did like a little slow down. It didn't look like he hit him. It didn't look that stiff, that shot. I don't know. As we make our way, I guess I'm recording this Thursday, the night before the Hall of Fame and SmackDown before WrestleMania. SmackDown as a whole is largely a different show than Raw, obviously, the names. But one thing that SmackDown has not done is I have a hard time watching that show, especially with, man, I hate to say this, but the women. Y'all gonna hate me because I see a lot of people online. Oh, the women deserve a WrestleMania main event this year. No, they don't. I'm sorry, they don't. The only reason why we're talking about Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton, is because of the little blurb they had about Charlotte's divorce. If you guys didn't know, Charlotte is on pace to match her father's amount of divorces that they've had. She's almost breaking that record too. But there's some kind of sensitive things about that though, is that allegedly, it's all alleged, that Andrade, who was a wrestler on SmackDown, was cheating and had a child with another woman. So I don't know. I saw that on social media. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments. But one thing about that feud specifically, it's the women's title, the women's WWE title. And one thing that I can't take Tiffany Stratton seriously. People love her. The crowds go crazy for her, but she can't cut a promo. And this is exactly what Charlotte Flair was telling her on television. She can't cut a promo. She's like it's the whiny voice, but it's also like she's trying to be a baby face, but she's doing heelish things with some of the barbs saying back. I wouldn't call her a heel, but they're moving her into baby face because of Charlotte. And I don't understand it's just lackluster. Basically, Charlotte comes back from a year and a half, wins the Royal Rumble, the women's Royal Rumble, and this feud has just been cheeks. It's like the buildup is cheeks. It's like I don't even really want to watch this. But what got me interested in is there might be real life heat between these two women, especially with the Lud. So Charlotte basically, Tiffany says some things about her divorces, and then Charlotte comes back and says, "Well, that's why Kaiser's in my DMs." I'm gonna be honest with you. If I'm Kaiser, I'm taking offense to that because Charlotte is like 40s, in her 40s maybe, and Ludwig's like, he's with the younger version of Charlotte right now. I'm kind of beefing over that. I'm kind of like, you got me messed up. But this might be a real life beef between these two ladies, and it's kind of made me interested in seeing that match specifically. But the women as a whole, like even Bailey and Candice LeRae, what's that girl? Nia Jax, what's Jim Cornette call her, the refrigerator? God, it's crazy. It's just not. It's not there. It's not there. And maybe Stephanie Vacour will come in, or Julia, or all these other girls that they're bringing in. Maybe they may come in and add some flavor to the women's division on SmackDown. Charlotte coming back, but they haven't. It's just it hasn't been there. There's no crowd reaction. You may hear a pop from the girls, like the little girls who look up to these women, but it's just largely just dead. It's like they're just coming out. Also, too, the women have some of the worst theme songs, like the worst. Tiffany Stratton her song's okay. I like how she's kind of talking over the beat. Obviously, Rhea Ripley's got a great song, but the theme songs, and that's really throughout the entire WWE, is Def Rebel. It's just awful. But I'm not really looking forward to seeing any SmackDown besides Jacob Fatu and LA Knight. And I guess you could say Cody Rhodes and John Cena is technically a SmackDown, even though they're both on Netflix trying to sell this thing. But the Jade Cargill and Naomi, I get it. That's a long-term story. You also have Bianca's in this, and she's in a triple threat with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's going to get watched. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to watch it. But I guess let me go ahead and give my prediction on Tiffany. I think Charlotte's going to win, just for the simple fact that, man, politics are a thing in WWE. She's her dad. If I'm not going over, it better be someone who's worth going over me, basically. Tiffany, she's young. She needs to get the title off her. She needs to build a character a little bit more. Because right now, it's just basically the high pitched voice, the outfits, and the moonsault. That's about it for me with her. Jade Cargill, Naomi. I think Jade's going to win this. I do think that there may be more to that story, because of Bianca. I think Bianca was there. I think she was involved, and I think Jade to insert herself because Jade Cargill, she had to go away for a little bit because she was botching too much crap. Get some training under her belt, get comfortable in the ring. They're trying to make her. She's going to be the face of SmackDown, in my opinion, here in the next 5 years. Like, you're going to add. Obviously, there's going to be more women coming through, but I think she's going to be like the Roman Reigns because she's got the look, the silver hair. Man, she's looking like Storm from X-Men. She's tall. She's got the body. She's got strong. Like, she looks built like she's just a strong individual. They got to insert her in the main event picture on SmackDown, especially for that title. Because, like I said, it's lackluster. I think Bayley's past her prime. I think Roxanne Perez. I think she's getting buried right now. She's on the pre-show at Stand and Deliver, which I defended a little bit of this booking on Twitter or on X, Warcry Pod on X. If you guys want some wrestling, conversations and hot takes, I don't think Roxanne Perez is getting buried for the simple fact that they don't want to introduce her heavily to the main roster if she's not going to be in a serious match. Like, they're just going to throw her out there. They want the crowd to be familiar with her. She lasted she was second in the Royal Rumble. They're just testing the waters with her. Roxanne does give me AJ Lee vibes. Can talk on the mic, sassy, quick-witted. She gives me those vibes, and I think that's why, I think AJ Lee might be in the background helping out with, obviously CM Punk too as well. But I don't think she's getting buried, but hopefully she gets up to SmackDown and changes that women's division. So the next match that I'm really excited for on SmackDown is the United States title match, which is Jacob Fatu and LA Knight. I have never been an LA Knight fan. I know he was like with Eli Drake in TNA. Didn't really care for that. The dude can talk. Don't get me wrong. The dude can talk. But he just doesn't have there's no it for me. It's all like, hey, I'm gonna steal a little bit of mannerisms from The Rock, like he's taking things from people. The walk, he's got that Stone Cold walk where he kind of moves his head. Stone Cold walks when he's going down to the ring. I hope Jacob Fatu wins. My only fear with that is that Solo is going to get involved, and we're going to have a backlash match between Solo and Jacob Fatu. I hope not. I am sick and tired of Solo Sikoa. Get him off my TV for a year. Bring him back. Repackage him. He needs to get rid of the spike. The spike is not really... that spike maneuver, that finishing move, will never be outdone. But, Umaga is him. Rest in peace. But they need to get that off of him, and he needs to change his finisher because I hate it for him. Because he was like 0-65 in multiple matches and multiple events. If you have the Samoan spike, bro, you're not getting beat ever. And you're not kicking out of that. So they need to repackage him a little bit. But I hope and pray that Solo Sikoa does not get involved with Jacob Fatu's match. I need Fatu to win easy, clean, decisive, beat the mess out of LA Knight. They have the rematch at Backlash. I'm like fingers crossed on that because I do not want Solo Sikoa to be involved. Because the Bloodline 2.0s, I get it. Roman lost at WrestleMania. We milked that storyline. There needs to be a pivot. I do not want Jacob Fatu to join The Rock. Please, for the love of God, do not do that. I do not want to see that. Everyone else does not want to see that. Jacob Fatu is a star, and he needs to be showcased in that way. He's got the entrance. He's got the promo. He's got the moveset. He's big. Like, he doesn't look stature-wise in terms of height, but he's a star. Like, you just know it. I'm hoping he can kind of move in a direction with Tama Tonga or the Tonga brothers. I'm hoping that's kind of the direction. And Solo kind of maybe goes on a find himself mission. I just don't want. I'm tired of Solo Sikoa. I know that they're moving towards Jacob and Solo. I hope like that can be SummerSlam. Like leave that for SummerSlam. Like, I don't want to see that here at WrestleMania, which that's just throwing it out there. And we're probably going to see that, but I do not want to see Solo Sikoa. A lot of people are mad about leaving off the women's U.S. title. Chelsea Green, I think she's defending that on SmackDown on Friday night. I think Chelsea Green is that perfect mid card performer. She kind of gives me the same vibes. And like, I hated that RVD was this way, but RVD was a perfect mid card guy in the early 2000s. Eddie Guerrero, perfect mid card guy. Like these guys could bump, they could wrestle. Chelsea Green can wrestle. She's a good wrestler. She's just perfect where she's at. Like, United States, maybe every now and then get a title shot like RVD and Eddie did back in the early 2000s, and maybe one day win it when maybe there's some momentum, like Kofi Kingston Mania or Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30. But I'm hoping, that there may be something going on with her that they can push her, because on both mid card titles for Raw and SmackDown, they are underutilized. Valkyria, she just lost this past week. I get into comment battles with people who'd like try to tell me that these wrestlers are being fumbled. Like, that's the thing. Oh, they fumbled this wrestler. Like, bro, they're in the contract for like 4 years. One thing about like the Valkyria girl from on Raw, she is a young wrestler. She's not going to be Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch. She's not going to be Bayley, in the first, year. There has to be some character building. There has to be some lumps. Like, people were like, oh, they fumbled Ilya Dragunov before he got injured. He was losing all the time. It's like, yes, you need to build a little bit of a backing behind them. They need to go through their lumps young. It's like Roman. They pushed him down our throats, and guess what? People booed him. I remember 2017, people were losing their minds when The Rock came out and basically was like, hey, this is the guy, I'm going to raise his hand. People were losing their minds over that. But those days are over. We need to build these characters. I know another one that gets thrown out there. I got into a comment battle with somebody about Carmelo Hayes. He has beaten the United States champion, LA Knight. He has beaten Andrade. Like, he has gotten wins against reputable opponents, according to the IWC, the Internet Wrestling Community. Carmelo is very young. He needs to be built up, having tag teams, learning from The Miz. I hate The Miz, but I'm glad The Miz is taking on some of these younger talents, and like putting them over and getting them basic, because Miz is good on the mic. And Melo needs work on the mic. But I think that if he works with people like Miz, Andrade was another one who's been in the business 20 years, been in the business for a while. Those people, that he can be built up. And then now you're looking at a mid-card title. Gets a good reign there. Then gets built up. And then now he's, a main eventer or a sub-main eventer, someone who challenges for the title. So I got Jacob Fatu hopefully winning that United States title match. I believe the War Raiders tag team against the New Day is another lower card. I don't know why that's on WrestleMania. That needs to be the Street Profits. The War Raiders have like wrestled twice since they won the title. Don't care to see them. I think their rebrand was cool. Kind of like biker guys. Whatever. It's cool. But I think one thing that Triple H, and I will agree with people that, yeah, this may have been a little bit of a fumble when it comes to booking WrestleMania. But at the same time, I think giving a spotlight to a younger, quote unquote, younger tag team or a new, fresh tag team against the New Day. But I do think the New Day need to win. They need to get those titles. I love their heel rebrand. They're getting Dominic Mysterio heat right now, and I love it. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that they do win those titles. Don't have much to say about them. They haven't really got much of a build. Like I said, the Vikings, Viking Raiders, the Raiders or whatever they're called. two big dudes who can flip around and do crazy moves. Hey, that's cool. But Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, I think they're going to take it. Next match that I want to talk about, and I'm really excited for this match. I am a huge Braun Breaker guy. He's the Goldberg, but with a promo and more moves. He's going to be a nasty bastard when it comes to the main event scene. He's going to drop the title, no doubt. He's not winning this match. I hope and pray that they do not put the title on Penta. Penta's another guy that I'm a huge Penta guy. I love his moveset. Ray Phoenix on SmackDown. I think that they need to slow play him. People already love him, but I think that they need to just slow play the booking, allow him to get some wins, and eventually get the mid card, I'm about to say United States, the Intercontinental at SummerSlam, drop it at WrestleMania, and then when they do the brand draft, put the brothers together, the Ray Phoenix and Penta, put the two Lucha brothers back together, let them have a long, lengthy title reign on SmackDown, boost that up, or even on Raw. I just think Penta doesn't need the title, and I think Finn Balor doesn't need the title, but I think Dominic Mysterio is the winner of this match of the Intercontinental Fatal 4-Way. So the four people that are in the match, Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, Braun Breaker, and Penta. I think Dominic's going to win his first mid-card title, his first WrestleMania without his dad. The reason why is Dominic he is a legitimate, like, he gives me Edge vibes in some aspects. Like, Edge didn't cut the greatest promo, but he was just like, I remember in the early 2000s, people hated Edge. Like, yo, we was mad that Edge stole Lita from Matt Hardy. We was angry about that. Like, I remember I was like, what, in 5th grade? I'm like, yo, what? Like, yo, you gonna steal his girl? Like, we were so in Matt Hardy's corner. I do not want, like, I just think that title will boost Dominic up. Right now, he's like a lackey. I don't think Finn Balor is the guy. Finn Balor needs to get away from Judgment Day. We need to bring back Demon Finn Balor. Penta needs to go through the trials and tribulations of WWE, win a title, and then be reunited with his brother, because that's what we want to see. And Braun Breaker needs to be in Gunther's lap after WrestleMania. He needs to be all over that World Heavyweight title. And that's a spoiler for what my opinions are of Jey Uso Gunther. I just don't believe that anyone other than Dominic Mysterio should win this match. And Dominic he's a solid wrestler. One thing about Dominic that I wish he would do is bulk up. He needs to put a little bit more weight on. But that's just genetics. And he may not be able to, but I 100% believe Dominic Mysterio will win the Fatal 4-Way. Next match. Now, I have mixed feelings about this because the Raw Women's Division is a lot better than SmackDown's. But adding Rhea Hogan Ripley, I'm kind of tired of seeing her. I get it. She's a star. Like, she's a legitimate star. She's all over the place. She was at UFC getting highlighted. She's been on different talk shows. She's big on the internet. People love her. Little girls love her. And I think in the way that she has been booked, it gives me Hogan vibes. Any match that she's in, she's going to win. Now, when people hear that, they're like, oh, she lost to EO on a random Monday night. Yes, but she's Rhea Hogan. She's always going to be in the title hunt. Well, she wasn't when she came back from injury. Yes, I get it. She was trying to get after Liv Morgan, but that's always that little filler, like Batista and Mark Henry when Batista came back from injury back in like 07 or 06. We need either Bianca or Io to win. My prediction of that match: Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair versus Io Sky. My prediction of that match, no doubt about it, needs to be Bianca Belair. She needs the strap because then she goes back to SmackDown. Then we have our little draft, and here we are. We're Jade Bianca SummerSlam with Jade taking the title. That's crazy, but Jade is a superstar. She has superstar quality. She has that it factor. Then all of a sudden, you have now a loaded SmackDown brand with possibly 2 titles. And then you mix it up, go to the draft. You know, the draft I think is right after Backlash or right before Backlash. But we do that little thing where, like in '05, when Batista and John Cena were on Raw together, we're having epic main events: Jericho and Cena, Batista and Triple H, though that trilogy. So I think both titles will be on SmackDown. The draft will happen, and I think either whoever's the winner, which I hope it's Charlotte, which is crazy. Many people hate Charlotte right now. Charlotte goes over to Raw because she's got the brand name, Charlotte Flair. She needs to be over on Raw. All of our huge hitters, besides Roman Reigns, are all on Raw. And Cody Rhodes. But I'll give you my opinion shortly. So out of that triple threat, Bianca wins. Jade's involved. She realizes, hey, you're involved. Maybe the next SmackDown, Jade comes out. I took care of the problem. We're good, Bianca. Bianca then is a full-on heel. Turns heel on Jade because Jade is a babyface. There's no way she can't be a babyface right after being attacked. Moving on. I am so excited for the Jey Uso and Gunther match. But I believe Gunther's going to win. I believe that. But here is my theory. And this is why I'm a little bit nervous that Jey Uso is going to win. I'm like 60-40 Gunther. If you guys have noticed over the last, since Raw went to Netflix, when we saw Travis Scott on the debut episode of Raw on Netflix, Travis Scott came out with Jey Uso. Log that in your mind. The next following weeks, after we get out of the Royal Rumble, something that it looked weird to me. When they were up on the top rope and Cena was going to AA Jey Uso off and he AAs him on into the ring. And then Jey just kind of nudges him and pushes him out. And Cena had this look like, I didn't like that. And that was Cena's last Royal Rumble. And that's all we're thinking about. Oh my God, he's not going to WrestleMania. But if you look back at the push, it wasn't really a push. It was more of like a nudge. And Cena almost fell easy. Because, we've seen multiple Royal Rumbles where that's kind of spot has happened. And it's like a push or a punch or a hit in the back. Jey just kind of nudged him. So we get to Elimination Chamber. Cena wins and he turns on Cody. And obviously now Cena's heel with The Rock and Travis Scott. The Rock said that he wants him to be his champion. That's talking about Cody. Cody says, and we bleep this out. But one thing about Jey Uso is obviously the bloodline connections, the Travis Scott connections. Jey Uso came out with Travis Scott And The Rock has come out to the same. I think it's Fiend. They both came out to, or like introed into, into the music. Fiend. I think The Rock is building a stable that he is quote unquote in control of, and I think Jey Uso will be that next member. I believe all of the signs. Jey Uso has been wearing black the last few weeks. The Rock wears black. People, I think what they're doing with Seth Rollins in like having him dress up as having Rock same outfits. I 100% think that is to throw us off the scent. It's like that swerve. We all think that Rollins is about to do something dastardly. I don't think that. I think it's Jey Uso. Now, my heart wants Gunther to win. I'm 60-40 Gunther. I want him to win. But who I know is going to win will be Jey Uso with the help of The Rock. And The Rock, standing at the end of WrestleMania, wants both titles under his control and his stable because he is the final boss. Gunther cannot be controlled. Now, the problem that I run into is the Jey Uso babyface pop. Do they move back to the Uso Penitentiary entrance? Does Jey Uso put the fire out of his own entrance and his own aura and his own, rocket, sort of say, the top by turning heel in the middle of a babyface run? It doesn't make sense. But one thing that Rock said, he said he's always 20 steps ahead. And Jey Uso came out at number 20 at the Royal Rumble. So I think Jey Uso will join The Rock and John Cena. And I will go ahead and give my prediction for John Cena and Cody Rhodes is that John Cena will win the 17th title to break Ric Flair's record. And it will be Jey Uso, John Cena, with The Rock. And there's going to be lots of mess. I think Stone Cold's going to show up. I think The Undertaker's going to show up. I would not be surprised at all if Triple H is involved in any sort of fashion. Because what they can set up is a mini civil war within WWE with Triple H's guys, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, CM Punk. Like, Triple H has been talking about CM Punk in the most glowing of fashions over the last 2 weeks. How he talks. We really have kind of just, mended bridges, and it was just always bad communication between us. It'll be that faction or that group, and they could milk that storyline all the way to WrestleMania. And we get either our Rock and Roman match, we get our CM Punk Rock match, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes match. I mean, we've seen that a million times, but there's multiple matches that could be made. Jey Uso versus Seth Rollins, Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns, Jey Uso versus CM Punk. But all those matches I'm not missing them. But I think that's what's happening. But they're breadcrumbing us. And that's the way Attitude Era was. Sometimes, they would hot shot it and they would, take whoever and do whatever we do. But that Vince McMahon, that's what The Rock wants. He wants to be the Vince McMahon. He wants to be, because Vince was kind of behind the scenes, if y'all remember. We didn't really know he was the owner until after Brett screwed Brett. The Rock has legitimate power in WWE. He's on the board. He can make moves. So it makes logical sense to create his quote-unquote faction, John Cena, Jey Uso. Now, the other caveat is, who are the other members? I think the only way to get Batista out of retirement is this, and have him join that faction, the Hollywood faction. The the shades, the dressing nice. I want to see Batista in this. It's not possible, but I think that's the only way that he would come out of retirement. Also, too, I think Triple H has one more match in him. I just have that feeling. He, talked about his health issues. I don't know, but I think that this is setting up, and these are all hypotheticals. You guys in the comments can tell me how wrong I am and how stupid I am. That's fine. But I think that this thing is setting up for a Rock versus Triple H, just like in real life. Now, no one talked. Now, that's kind of something that had not really got a lot of play except for that Rivals episode. Is Rock and Triple H didn't really rock with each other when they were going for the Intercontinental title when they were both very young in their careers. Triple H had the My Time, which on TikTok right now I am posting my favorite WWE moments, and this week specific is Triple H. Triple H is my guy. He's in my top 5 all time. So My Time, that era, it's him versus The Rock. So there's that rivalry's always been there, and so I'm just kind of curious, like, this may be setting up to WWE Civil War. There's all different people you can add. Another thing too is The Rock could bring back Brock Lesnar. People don't want to hear that name, but you never know. I mean, I know that some reports went out that they've basically scrubbed Brock Lesnar from everything, which is, hey, could be another swerve. But that's one thing I love about WWE. They can take this however they want. And do I believe that they're 20 steps ahead? No, I think they booked from like 2 weeks out because Triple H says they hear the crowd. And so my prediction is that John Cena and Jey Uso will end WrestleMania as champions. Now, the final match that I want to talk about on this preview, WrestleMania 41 preview, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. Now, they have also been breadcrumbing us. What's the favor, CM Punk? Seth Rollins now wants a favor after not curb stomping Paul Heyman. And Roman coming out, hasn't really posted much on social media, but came out and said, you know what? I should have had a tighter grip on this company. I let it slip from my hands. Now, do I believe that Roman Reigns will win this match? No. There's absolutely no way. And I think he's going to eat the pinfall. Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman will now team up, is my prediction for that match. CM Punk's going to win the match. Paul Heyman's going to turn on Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman are going to leave together. Do I want to see a Seth Rollins CM Punk again? No. I think CM Punk should move on to the World Heavyweight Championship. But this lengthens Seth and Roman because that's what we have not seen in years. They keep breadcrumbing us with Seth doing the same thing he did to Roman 10 years later or 9 years later with the steel chair to the back. The shield, they call it the shield chair is what they're calling it now. I 100% believe that we're going to see Paul Heyman turn on Punk and Reigns, sending Reigns and Rollins as the main event or the co-main event of SummerSlam. We're going to get 6 months of this. I think CM Punk is going to move on because I think him and Cena got business to attend to. I think CM Punk, Cody Rhodes have business to attend to. Now, where does this leave Gunther? I'm going to be really shocked if they don't draft Gunther over to SmackDown and him vie for the, I guess it would be WWE Championship. I think the brand draft is going to change everything. But that's one thing with these storylines is like there's always a caveat of, okay, what happens to this person? If Jay and John Cena are going with The Rock, Gunther and Punk are on the outskirts. You have Reigns, Rollins, SummerSlam, possibly. or Backlash, whatever, however they want to do it, and then end in a Hell in a Cell or end in a steel cage match, whatever, however they, or a I Quit match or last man standing match. But that's why I hope Gunther wins the title, because I think him holding the title and then Punk coming after him, Punk beats him. Then you have a feud with Gunther and CM Punk, which is going to be super entertaining on the mic. Gunther is an asshole, man. He is like the LFG clip of him just eviscerating those trainees was cinema. Was pure cinema. Because some of those people are not really there. I don't think they're there to be wrestlers. I think they're there to be social media influencers. They're just using the WWE brand to boost what they got. Because one thing I'm noticing, it's kind of off topic of WrestleMania, is that a lot of these new wrestlers are not really that great, and they're not good on the mic. We have a few, Roxanne, Julia, Stephanie Vacour. Like, a lot of these talents are not homegrown. Like, Braun Breaker is out there. Ilya Dragunov has been out there for a while. I mean, these gymnasts are not really working out in terms of personality, in my opinion. But back to WrestleMania. So I'm hoping Gunther wins, but like I said, now CM Punk and Gunther, CM Punk and Roman Reigns, CM Punk and John Cena, CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. We have meat on the bone on all of this, because there has been a rumor floating out that WWE accidentally released the replica title belt that CM Punk is going to win. People say, "Oh, it's an old school title," but it wasn't the spinner belt. It was this title, that the iteration of this title now. Another theory that I have is that somehow the final boss, possibly CM Punk, goes to the dark side with Jey Uso and John Cena, or Jey Uso doesn't, and it's John Cena and CM Punk, which is a mega group. He says, "I want to be inserted in the title match." I don't know. I mean, there could be anything. I mean, basically, The Rock changed the rules to no DQ middle of the match with Cody's story. So those are kind of my predictions. I'm missing a match or two because I really don't care. I know that the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is going to be on SmackDown, which I wish they are kind of desecrating. They're desecrating that match, because to me, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal should get like a mid card title shot, or maybe like a random pay per view shot, because we all know that whoever comes out as champion is going to have to run into Randy Orton, and that's another match that I'm kind of curious on. Is Randy Orton is going to have an opponent? We just don't know who it is, and that's another SmackDown match, because Randy Orton, it's got Sheamus. Some people are saying Nick Aldis, which I don't think would fit. He's a TNA guy. Like, are we going to just out of nowhere, and then he's going to go back to being general manager? I just don't see that working out. Aleister Black is another one. A match that I wish that they would make, but they're not going to, would be Rey Fenix and Randy Orton at WrestleMania. That would be heat. Randy Orton's pace, making Rey Fenix work, and then, shots of just adrenaline, boom, shots of energy, and then slowed down. The Viper, methodical. The way that he works, it's very like, what's coming, you just can't stop it. And that would be a great match. Another match another person that's been floated, and I don't know if I want to see this, is Rusev and Randy Orton. I don't know if I want to see that. Do I want to hear the Rusev Mashka, or whatever they used to say? Yeah, low key, I liked his music. And when he came out that first Royal Rumble, I thought that was Goldberg. I was like, nah, this is a Bulgarian hairy Goldberg. This is a Goldberg with long hair, because he came out and was spin kicking, doing all types of crazy slams. I'm like, this dude is going to be a star. He ran into John Cena. He ran into these different people, and he kind of just and went to AEW, and then it's back. It's gonna be back. Aleister Black, I just don't know to debut back at WrestleMania. Is he that big a star? Um, he means he would have to beat Randy Orton. I don't think Randy Orton needs to be beat at WrestleMania. For the simple fact that I think Randy Orton should be in the main event. Um, I forgot about Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. Just jogging my. I know that there's Damian Priest fans out there who are probably going to kill me for this, but I'm tired of him. I need him. I need his all rise for the outlaw. That sounds crazy. That sounds literally LD. Like that just sounds terrible. All rise for the outlaw. What is that? Like, who are you? A demon biker? A demon outlaw? Like, what is this? He needs no. The bisexual Undertaker, whatever they're calling him, he needs to go. I don't want to see him against Drew McIntyre. I'd love to see Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. That's who I want to see. Maybe somebody takes out Damian Priest. I don't know, in the backstage area, and we do the whole um, injury angle, and then Randy Orton comes to find out he's um, the guy who hurt him, and then we can go on, maybe that. But I don't want to see Damian Priest. He's 41 years old. He's not that good of a worker. His promo skills, he's had 2 good promos. I'm over Damian Priest, and I don't want Drew McIntyre anywhere near him, because if Damian Priest beats Drew McIntyre, we riot. Because Drew McIntyre needs to be in the world title hunt. He needs to be going against Gunther. He needs to be going against CM Punk. Like that ilk. And he's already won against CM Punk. But that ilk, Seth Rollins, like people that are in the main event, like Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre is still meat on the bone. Like we need that. Drew McIntyre, John Cena. Imagine that. Like we need these matches, and I do not want to see Damian Priest move him back to a tag team. I don't know. And y'all may call that hate, but I'm tired of it. But Randy Orton, I hope he gets someone who is on the same ilk. I mean, Sheamus, like I said, no. Rusev, no. Aleister Black, no. I'm hoping it's someone we are not expecting. I hope. I'm just now remembering all these matches. Another match that's coming up is Rey Mysterio versus Chad Gable under a mask. Would be the craziest thing if that was not actually Chad Gable. That would be insane, but it's Chad Gable. But that would be crazy if it's revealed that it's not Chad Gable and it's someone else. That would be kind of crazy. But I got Chad Gable winning that one, or whatever his name is, Elegante Americano, or whatever his name is. But another story. This is something off, not WrestleMania related, but I'm interested in the Legado del Fantasma, whatever the name is, with Santos Escobar and Rey Fenix. I'm interested in that. That's an interesting thing for me. And SmackDown is becoming like Hispanic, like SmackDown. Like there's so many Mexican wrestlers on SmackDown. It's like y'all need to move them around. But I think Rey Mysterio is going to get his last singles match. He's probably going to retire here in the next couple of years, and I think that his son needs to retire him, put him down for good. Dominic Mysterio. Liv Morgan and them, Judgment Day, I think they're going to win their titles back. Like I said, a lot of the builds to a lot of these matches, it just hasn't been it. I miss the old days where they had like a whole vignette and a whole like promo and a whole like marketing thing around this specific match. Like on TikTok, I posted, and this was not for the title. This is just a feud match, a bad blood match from 2003 or 2002 or 2004, whatever year, between Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Like we need those level of promos. Like go out and buy the random 2020, 3, music with like a random riff that sounds good, or Default, or like Tool, or just someone who's like not Like, go and get it. I like that they did a couple years ago. They were doing that with the Rock and the metal. We need to move back to that because the promos back then were just straight heat, or like Limp Bizkit and Stone Cold and The Rock. Man, we need to bring those back for these individual feuds, and then play that on Raw and SmackDown. Just sounds better. It looks better. But I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that everything is going to be good. The Hall of Fame is going to be on Friday. After SmackDown, it's coming on at like midnight. I think my time, Central Time, or yeah, midnight. It's going to be a long night, but I'm glad for Lex Luger. I know his name is kind of it wasn't looking the best with Miss Elizabeth passing away in his presence. I think it was an OD, I believe. Rest in peace. But I'm glad that he's getting in. He's turned his life around. He's now disabled, paraplegic, I believe, or he's waist down, maybe. I don't know. Obviously, we have Triple H going in. I'm gonna get teary eyed over Triple H. That was my first favorite wrestler. My Time, DX, uh, the Run DMC version of the DX song. Man, I had to go back and I was watching a lot of those, and I was just like, man, that's childhood right there. Triple H doing the favors for Batista, and then Batista becoming like, it was like Triple H was my favorite. Batista came along, then Batista was my favorite, and then Batista left, and then Roman Reigns is my favorite, along with like CM Punk, John Cena, like that mix. So it is, it's sad to see your heroes and people that you really love watching get old. I wish Triple H had one more match in him. Like, I don't want him to be like Ric Flair. People say, one more match, Rick. Like, you can do it. Like, dude, Rick was dying. He was in cardiac arrest out there. But I hope he gets one more. The Rock, I hope he gets one more. And like, I just wish, we could like reverse time and just feel that moment. Like when Triple H came back in Madison Square Garden. I remember watching that on, was it TNN, Turner News, or Turner, what, not TNN. I can't think of the name of it, but it was a Turner network. And I remember watching that and being like, this dude is like, this is the guy. Obviously Stone Cold was a, big guy for me too. I had like all the documentaries of him, but Triple H was my guy. And you know, I'm glad that he's going in finally. I knew people were like, oh, he's just putting himself in the Hall of Fame because blah, blah, blah. He's the boss's son-in-law, this and this. But to me, Triple H has saved wrestling because y'all, we saw 2017, 2018, 2019. Like, there was some cheeks wrestling going on in that time, but we forget about it. Vince McMahon was like, he was nosediving. He was trying to burn that place up. And even Triple H came out and said, like, he was not the same guy that was doing all the other stuff back in the 80s and 90s. He was just an old man. He was trying to control what he could. And he said that here recently. I'm trying to think of who else is going. I know a tag team is going in. Oh, what was it? The Earthquake? Was it I can't think of their names, but they're going in. I know a few other wrestlers are going in. I think Dory Funk Jr. is going in, or Senior. Um, it's the headliners. I haven't really looked into the Hall of Fame in terms of like who in the background. But I'm glad. I'm glad Lex Luger. He had a lot of iconic moments when he showed up on WCW. That was crazy. I wasn't alive, but like I remember watching that back and being like, I just saw him. Like I remember, we get like the little tapes, the VHS tapes, and we'd watch them. And we're like, this is 90. This is 94. Random pay per view in your house or whatever. And then we're like, oh, he's on WCW like the next month. Wrestling against Sting. Like what? But like I didn't get that at the time in my young brain. Like, why is Lex Luger over here and he's over here, and then uh, Diesel's over here, and, Razor Ramon's over here. But as being a young kid, you just didn't know. You didn't know the business like that. But but I'm really excited for this WrestleMania weekend, night 1 and night 2, the Hall of Fame, and then Raw after WrestleMania, and also Backlash. Like that's going to be pretty fun too. Randy Orton's got to be in the main event. St. Louis hometown guy. I'm glad we're not going. I'm glad WWE's not doing any out of the country shows. Like, no offense to France and all these other places, but they kind of ruin the pay per views because they start chanting stuff that I'm like, what's like this has nothing to do with what's going on. But I'm glad that they're keeping it in house in America. Tariffs are getting them now. But let me know what you guys think about your predictions and who you have winning in each night in each match. Um, give me your predictions down in the comments. I'd love to battle it out if y'all have an opinion about what I said. I'd love to talk about it because one thing I with my podcast is I do a lot of native stuff. If you have never heard my podcast before and this is the first time and you're a wrestling fan, I'm a native dude. My name's Yahola Tiger, native dude out of Oklahoma, and tell a lot of stories, talk about a lot of conspiracies, talk about current day stuff. But I'm a huge WWE fan and been a WWE fan since 2000, since I was able to comprehend to what was in front of me, maybe even earlier than that. But if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. The Patreon and the YouTube memberships are there. So if you like scary stories, and these are true scary stories, go subscribe and follow the channel. TikTok and X, Warcry Pod. I'm posting a lot of wrestling content on TikTok. So if you get tired of that, just ignore it and keep swiping. Or even just like it. You don't even got to watch it. But that's the other ways to support the podcast is go follow me on X and TikTok. And then if you have a scary story or something that's like kind of spooky, real warcrypod at gmail.com. But this is the WrestleMania 41 preview. I'm thinking about doing a review, specifically YouTube only. It's going to be a lot. I'm not going to do it every night, but I'll probably just after everything's over, after everything is settled from WrestleMania, and do a review and give my opinions because I feel like there's going to be a lot of crazy shit going on. Like I feel like it's going to be wild, and we're going to be taking on a ride, as The Rock says. Enjoy the ride The Rock is taking you on, is what the man said. But you guys can catch me at all those things I mentioned before, and I appreciate the continued support, and I'm going to catch you guys on the next one.